had the privilege of speaking this weekend at a men's retreat that I went on with about a dozen guys, and I think it was a good message, and I wanted to come here and kind of reiterate everything that I said and could kind of formulated. And I think it's an impactful message that a lot of people could benefit from. So the main idea of the message was engaging our discipline, and I used Hebrews 12 as a reference for all of this. I'll get into it here in a second, but kind of breaking it up into a few parts. The discipline that we receive from the Lord, the discipline that we put on ourselves, why this discipline is important, the purpose of this discipline, why does God discipline us as his children, and ultimately just engaging that. And whether it's from the Lord or it's from ourselves, it's within, we need to be disciplined in multiple different facets of our life. Ultimately being disciplined with following the Lord and listening to what he has planned for us, and understanding the value and the importance of the discipline and the painful times that we have to go through to get to the brighter side and to get to the things that really matter, that do strengthen us over time. So, like I said, I kind of broke it down through Hebrews 12. So starting with the first part is Hebrews 12, 1 and 2. It says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God." So with this, I wanted to emphasize just how important it is that we stay focused on him. We got to stay focused on the Lord. And another reference would be to Philippians 4. I know somewhere in Philippians chapter 4, it says, everything that's good, everything that's pure, everything that's kind, everything that's humble, do these things and set your mind on everything that's good and whole and pure. And we have to, like 12:1 says, let us throw off everything that hinders us and all the sin that entangles us. We have to put that stuff aside. And just, as a precursor to this, emphasizing how important it is to being focused on the Lord in every asset of our life. These sins and these old ways of life, we have to put them aside. And staying focused on him, staying focused on what he has planned for you, what he wants you to do, what he's calling you to do. We got to stay disciplined in listening to this from him. It's not a one-time thing where we just set our eyes on him and we just go about our days, and our eyes are always on him from there on out. It's a daily thing that we have to remind ourselves, hey, are we being disciplined and being focused on him? The second point is 12:5 and 6. "And have you completely forgotten this word of encouragement that addresses you as a father addresses his son? It says, 'My son, do not make light of the Lord's discipline, and do not lose heart when he rebukes you, because the Lord disciplines the one he loves, and he chastens everyone he accepts as his son.'" So this is also referencing Proverbs, I believe 3:11 and 12 is where the quotations come from. But what it's getting at is kind of why the Lord disciplines us, and that there is the concept of discipline coming from the Lord. The discipline that we endure is ultimately going to be painful. It's going to be hard. It's going to be questionable. Why do we have to go through these things? Because, to me, discipline and being disciplined is being taught and shown other ways of life and actions and behavior that ultimately shape you into being a better person, or a kind of person that somebody wants you to be for the best. The same way that a father would discipline his child into having better manners and respecting women, whatever it may be. The Lord disciplines us in the same way, trying to strengthen and mold us like clay into the men and women that he wants us to be, to serve his kingdom. And everyone's being molded in a different and unique way as a different facet of the community, of the church. We all serve different unique purposes based on what he's given us. And don't lose heart when he rebukes you. He loves you, and he chastens everyone that accepts him as his son, or everyone he accepts as his son. I'm sorry. And what it's getting at is when we get disciplined by the Lord, sometimes we think like, oh, like, why is the Lord like testing me or pushing me? But ultimately it's like he's challenging you and shaping you because he knows you love him, and he knows you have that faith in him. So being disciplined by the Lord is like almost should come as like a reward, or like a wow, he really does recognize me, and he's trying to shape me. He's trying to create something better out of me that I can't do on my own. So the third part I'll kind of jump is Hebrews 12:11. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. So again, when we're being disciplined, whether we're disciplining ourselves and following the Lord, or he's disciplining us in different ways of life, it's painful. Like, that's just the nature of it. Like, these things are hard to endure. They're struggles. Like, these are the things that test us and are shaping us, building us into being better people. And I think it's just another thing that we have to just keep, remembering and focusing on, that, although it's very hard to stay disciplined, like, discipline isn't one of those things where you just say, okay, I'm going to start being disciplined. Boom, now I'm disciplined. Like, it comes with time, and it's a day in, day out. Like, and you have to kind of stay true to yourself. Like, are you disciplining yourself, and are you really doing these things that you want to stay on track with? Reading the Bible, staying close to the Lord, going to church, serving others, being a gentleman, all these things. Like, you have to kind of be aware of, like, although it's hard to keep doing these things day in and day out, like, it's what produces our righteousness, and it's what makes us better people, is these areas of life that we discipline ourselves in. So the fourth point is kind of, we understand that, like, we're disciplined, but, like, what's the whole point, or why do we have to be disciplined? So I kind of broke it to where it explains it in 9 through 10, Hebrews 12. Moreover, we have all had human fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them for it. How much more should we submit to the Father of spirits and live? They disciplined us for a little while as they thought best, but God disciplines us for our good, in order that we may share in his holiness. So again, it's kind of just emphasizing, like, a father is going to discipline his children to try to mold them into, good young men and women. And the Lord is trying to shape us and mold us by disciplining us day in and day out, because ultimately that's what it is. Like, we're his children, and he's our father, and he's trying to shape us in whatever ways he can to become the people he wants us to become the righteous, humble, loving, caring people that we're called to be by being believers in Jesus. And, again, we got to understand that this discipline from the Lord is to be seen as good. Like, it's not being punished. Like, when he's disciplining you, that's because he loves you and you love him, and he's trying to shape you. And a question that I kind of want to ask to you guys to maybe be thinking on, just rendering throughout this week or whatever period of time you want to choose, is like, what areas of your life or what areas of your faith do you think you need to be more disciplined on? Or what areas of your life or faith do you think you've tried to be disciplined on, but you have a hard time being disciplined on them? And just kind of be true to yourself. Like, what are these things that you think are impacting your relationship with Christ in a good or bad way that you need to discipline yourselves on better, or start disciplining yourselves on? And that's kind of one of the questions I brought to the group, and we all kind of made, some interesting points. And one of them that I wanted to share was that it goes further than just reading the Bible and praying. Like, that's like the broad spectrum. Like, immediate discipline is like your relationship with him and getting to know him better through the word and through praying. But think about, a prayer that I always pray is like, let my actions and my behaviors resemble Christ and bring other people closer to him. And that's the thing that I always try to keep disciplined on, is being that kind of person that resembles Christ in all of your actions and behaviors. It doesn't matter if you're at work. It doesn't matter if you're at the grocery store. It doesn't matter if you're in your men's group. Like, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, your actions should show that you're a believer in Christ, that you're a humble gentleman, you love others, you respect women, the list goes on. But again, that's just one example that I liked. Was there's more to it. There's a lot of things in life that we need to discipline ourselves on, especially as men and women as well. But be thinking about those things. Be thinking about, outside of the obvious, like reading the Bible, praying, going to church, like what do you need to be more disciplined on that's hindering the growth of your relationship with Christ? Maybe it's cussing or some sort of sin. And again, these are things that need to be taking place, like regardless of where you are and what you're doing. And just be conscious of that. Be conscious of what areas you need to work on, of where do I need to be more disciplined with the Lord? Like, where is he challenging me? Where is he disciplining me? And let me put more time and effort into this, and let me focus on this more to be shaped and molded into the man or woman that he's designed and called me to be.